Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a build guide for the DUSKBLADE mod class in Baldur's Gate 3. This mod was made by BG3 DUSKBLADE class, and it's a very fun one with 3 different subclasses: Arcane Knight, Spellblade, and Magus. I'll be focusing on the Spellblade in this video and showing off a full build guide for this. And you get the choice of some cantrips. We also get the Arcane Strike here, so you can channel arcane power through your weapon attacks while not wearing heavy armor or using a shield. Your attacks with one-handed or versatile weapons deal an additional 1 to 4 force damage. So we're really focusing on not using a shield here, which is kind of funny, but one-handed attacks with a versatile weapon. So we got a few options for some good ones here, but I think there's one that everyone has on mind, which I'll cover in the gear section of this video. But for our cantrips, Green Flame Blade just makes sense here because we're going to be kind of a split hybrid between casting and melee attacking. Bone Chill, which is nice from range, and it'll give undead disadvantage on attack rolls and stops the target from healing. And then Lightning Lure, which can pull a creature towards you. Now for our ability scores, I think 16 Dex, 14 Constitution, 16 Intelligence, 10 Charisma, and Wisdom works best here. We're going to use Intelligence for spell casting and Dexterity for pretty much everything else. So it pays to have a good Dexterity. So I'll go over all the gear after we go over the build, and then I'll also show off some combat with this. At level 2, we get the Arcane Metal. You have advantage on saving throws to maintain concentration. Then we get to choose from a few different spells here. So Mistress Spells compatibility is huge. We also can get Shield, which is a very good spell. I think the best choice are Magic Missile and Shield here, just guaranteed damage, and also Shield is a really useful spell to have for survivability's sake. So we're going to go with that. Now, as I mentioned, for our subclass, we're going with the Spellblade here, which you specialize in blending your arcane power with combat maneuvers, giving us arcane accuracy, a +2 bonus to weapon attack rolls. And for our spells, I think the best choice is either Thunderwave or going with Frost Fingers. Thunderwave has the pushback, which can knock enemies off of ledges, but Frost Fingers is nice for the cold damage. And yeah, we're only a half caster, so we don't get full spell casting. At level 5 or 4 here, we can take for our cantrip the Booming Blade cantrip, which is really fun. And then level 4, we get to choose ourselves level 2 spells now, so this opens things up, gives us things like Misty Step, which is really fun, and Hold Person. So pick one of those that you prefer. Hold Person just gives us better strength whenever we do melee attacks. And for ability score improvement, you can go with either Dexterity or Intelligence here. Depends on if you find that your spell casting is more important, but I think Dexterity is the better one to improve. Level 5 gives us the extra attack and Arcane Flurry. You've honed the fusion of arcane power and martial techniques. After you cast a cantrip or level 1 spell, you can make a free weapon attack. So low level spells or even Magic Missile, you can do that and then attack afterwards. And then our Arcane Strike also goes up to 2d8 or 2d4, 2 to 8 force damage. So that's quite nice. And then we get to pick another spell. Misty Step, even Scorching Ray can be extremely useful, so you could go that route if you'd like. I think Misty Step just brings a lot to the table here for survivability's sake and also for positioning. At level 6, we get the Arcane Armor, so you channel your arcane power through your armor. While not wearing heavy armor or shield, you can add your Intelligence modifier to your armor class. Nice boost here, so this is where we want to start jacking up our Intelligence. And we get to choose another level 2 spell. Darkness can have some merit here, but Scorching Ray is a good damage choice. Snarl Snowball Storm can also work pretty good too, particularly in those you prefer. At level 7, we get our subclass feature, Improved Critical Hit, which increases the likelihood of us getting a critical hit by 5%, which is really nice. So we have to roll a 19 or 20 to get a crit. It's awesome. And then we get to get some fun spells like Lightning Bolt and Fireball, 2 of the best. So we're going to take Lightning Bolt because it's just really strong. We can also take Tidal Wave to set up water to double our lightning bolts. That's typically the most powerful way to go about doing this. At level 8, we get to choose another spell, so that's where we'll throw in the Tidal Wave, and we'll take an ability score improvement to bump up our Intelligence to 18, so that we can get our armor class up there. At level 9, we get Arcane Penetration, so your understanding of magic channeling allows you to break through magical defenses more readily than normal. When you hit a creature with Arcane Strike, it has disadvantage on its next saving throw against a spell you cast before the end of your next turn. So that's really nice, kind of similar to the Eldritch Strike that you get from the Eldritch Vanguard. Eldritch Vanguard, not Arcane Vanguard. But you also get the Arcane Strike upgraded to do 3 to 12 force damage, which is nice. And then we get to choose another leveled spell here. So this is where we can take Fireball. Haste is also really good too, but you can also have someone else apply haste to yourself. So a couple options there. Where this class really shines, because you got lots of choice between attacking or using spells. And we also get the improved Arcane Strike here, doing 7 to 16 force damage. It's really good. And we just take another cantrip here. A Frostbite can be good to give disadvantage on attack rolls if you need survivability. That's just a good choice. And then we also can take minor elementals here if we want, or Ice Storm. Ice Storm is great because it can just create ice surfaces for us. So we do get some better spells. It's not a full caster. I guess it's not a half caster either. Improved Arcane Flurry. You have honed the fusion of arcane power and martial techniques. After you cast a spell, you can make a free weapon attack. So this allows you to cast any level of spell and then attack after it. And then we get a choice in another spell here. Pretty large list of choices. Wall of Fire can be a good one. I also really like Conjure Minor Elemental. Just the ability to get someone else to take hits for you is really big. And then for our final level, we get Cone of Cold. You could also get Conjure Elemental, and this is how we can do that, by replacing one of the previous level spells. We have so many ones that are so good though, since our spell selection is kind of limited. This makes it difficult, but we can swap out one of these and then take our elementals if you'd like, just because the elementals is really good to have. And then we'll take our intelligence all the way up to 20 here. So this is pretty strong. Not overpowered. It's quite balanced, but basically what we're going to be doing here. So we always want to be wearing light armor if at all possible. So I'm wearing a modded piece of gear here. So I'll put on an actual outfit to show off what this can look like. We can't use a shield either. That's the unfortunate piece. But yeah, you get the arcane armor to add your intelligence modifier to your armor class. So that's a nice little benefit there. So you could even go with like a, I guess the ballast armor does still give you the arcane armor, which is nice. So that's another choice. You could go with the dexterity based armor class as well, works well. So if you really want to, you could just wear the armor of agility, be stealthy. But I think the ballast armor actually works best here because we can use a piercing weapon. Currently I'm using the infernal rapier, which does piercing damage, gives us an increase to our spell save DC, and it gives us a Cambion summon. But we also got the option of using the best weapon, I would say, probably for this would be the Duelist Prerogative, which gives us an extra reaction. This gives us an increased critical hit chance whenever we only have one weapon in our hand. So that is really nice, but you can go with the Infernal Rapier here. These are probably the two best choices. Now I'll show off another little trick that we can do. We can always take our Staff of Spell Power friend here and give us a free cast of Conjure Elemental so that we don't have to worry about spending our spell slots on that, because we only get one level 5 spell slot. So use the Arcane Battery for that. And then on top of that, you can also take Marka Heshker, the other Staff of Spell Power, and then take that to give yourself another summon so that we could just use the Arcane Battery of that. Give ourselves the Minor Elementals so that you could summon in the Ice methods here. So let's go with that, the free cast. So 2 summons there, and then we'll swap back to our original weapon and get our 3rd summon. So that's pretty good, 27 armor class, 3 summon, or I guess technically 4 summons. And for the rest of the armor, I went with the Mask of Soul Perception, but you can also go with the Hood of the Weave to increase our spell save DC. Cloak of Protection, you could also go with the Deathstalker Mantle. I guess I didn't switch out my rings yet, but Killer Sweetheart is great for the critical hit. And then the Amulet of Greater Health just for the extra health, obviously really useful. Helldust Gloves for the increased spell save DC and fire damage, and then Evasive Shoes there. So what this ends up looking like, so I guess I'll just short rest to give ourselves our health back. I'll give you a demonstration of what this does in combat here. So there's 2 ways that we can set up. We want to crowd control using surfaces. So we could drop down Tidal Wave here, which will soak everyone and create water, basically giving us double damage on our Cone of Cold. This is going to be probably the most bursty damage option, but we can also just drop an Ice Storm too if we wanted to go a little bit easier on them to start. But we'll show you what the Tidal Wave does. It's one of the best mistress spells because after that you can follow it up with one of these, and this will just wipe hopefully all of these targets out. 74, 74, 74, 58, 48 damage. And then it creates ice surfaces so they all end up slipping and falling. And that's perfect because now we got crowd control set up. And since we cast a spell, we can follow it up with a weapon action, and that actually lets us use Booming Blade, which is kind of funny. And I'll just go ahead there and bonk with that, and boom, critical hit, took them out, perfect. So yeah, pretty strong, obviously. And then we also got our bonus action, so we can Misty Step away if we needed to. But that just goes to show how powerful this can be. We could also use Flourish here, because the Infernal Rapier also gets that ability. I want to move away from my summons as much as possible, and then we'll end our turn there. But we also have our summons. They are pretty good for dealing damage. Not a great hit chance. We only got 1 of 3 there. But spread them out because typically in later game you're going to get hit with a lot of volleys, and that can be pretty devastating. They end up slipping on the ice, so that was perfect. And then what we can do here is really nice. So we can walk these into a good position. So I guess this is our water elemental, wrong one. And we'll use, so with this main attack, this will create a puddle of water so they become weak to cold damage. So never mind. Now it normally created a puddle of water, but what we're going to do is we're going to bring our ice method over here, and it got exploded. Oh no, it brought them into the combat. That's fine, but I'll just end their turns. And what we want to do with this now is the death burst. So this can hit in a pretty large area, so we'll try to move it so that we don't take out our own summon, but still take out that summon or that enemy. Perfect, good line up there, and boom, you can explode that, knocks them prone, and for some reason that made them attack them. Oh, it's because it's their turn. But then you can also go, so if you have create water set up, that's even better, but you can also just go with chromatic orb or ice breath here, so a little bit extra ice damage. It's nice just to be able to deal ice damage to these, because it's going to create these difficult terrains for enemies to watch out for. So pretty useful. We'll see pretty much most of these targets slip and fall on the ice, which is exactly what we want to have happen. And if you got the Lithability Charm, you can make it so that they have to come towards you. So they saved on it, that's fine. But the nice thing about spells like that is you can basically draw them to walk into your crowd control. If you have anyone with command, you can make them command walk, and they'll keep slipping and falling on the ice, which is hilarious. So yeah, we'll try that again. I got command groveled, which sucks, but the water, yeah, didn't hit. The water will set up a vulnerability to the cold damage, so that's really ideal for us. So I was able to Psionic Dominate and prevent us from getting commanded again. And now we can set up with our attacks again. So we got a free cast, which is nice, but we can also just drop the classic tidal wave. They don't have the vulnerability to cold damage, so we'll drop this down, create that for them. It also knocks them prone. We could hypothetically, since they're all lined up, just use lightning bolt, but we're gonna really send a message, use our free cast, and get a second casting of Cone of Cold, which will hopefully wipe them out, create a big ice surface, and yeah, that did wipe them all out. So perfect. That's 3 less to worry about. And then we can always go, and this is a cool combination. So you got the Misty Step there, you can Misty Step to a location, and then once we're in close, we got our weapons attacks that we can do. So you can do the Green Flame Blade or Booming Blade here, follow that up with a big bonk, and that hopefully will take them out. Perfect. There's one more remaining, and we got enough fuel from our summons to be able to hopefully take them out, so we'll just blast away, and that was that. So there's the Duskblade Spellblade version of it. Pretty strong, as you can see. Getting the ability to add your intelligence modifier to your armor class is pretty huge, because then we can take advantage of some really great armors. Not having a shield sucks, but getting that extra force damage on our weapon attacks is nice, and it makes us quite deadly. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Shout out to BG3 Duskblade class for making this mod. It's awesome. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video.